It was, for 5 centuries, the unquestioned center of the world. A city built on 2 great rivers, fueled by wealth and brightened by knowledge. This was Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. Within its walls stood the House of Wisdom, holding more books and scientific findings than anywhere else on Earth. It was the planet's great intellectual engine. But in 1258, that incredible light was about to be put out forever. A massive, terrifying wave of destruction, the Mongol Empire, had arrived. This confrontation would not just be a battle, it would be the sudden, violent end of an entire era.
Leading this siege force was Hülegü Khan, grandson of Genghis. He commanded an army estimated at 150,000 men, a massive, unstoppable force of Mongol cavalry and auxiliary soldiers. His goal was simple: complete control or utter ruin. Inside Baghdad sat Caliph al-Mustasim, the political and spiritual leader of Islam. Though his city was famed for its brilliance, the Caliph was dangerously unprepared.
For in-depth stories like this, one that changed the very course of history, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
The Caliph ignored all warnings about the Mongols. He falsely believed that the holiness of his city would protect him. In January 1258, Hülegü sent his final demand: surrender or face judgment. The Caliph's advisors sent an arrogant refusal. This was a catastrophic mistake. The Mongol response was swift and terrible. They cut off the city's water sources by destroying dikes along the Tigris River. The magnificent city, protected by old walls that had not been truly tested in centuries, was easily surrounded.
The siege itself lasted a mere 12 days. The Mongols, using expert siege engineers from China, quickly shattered the outer defenses. Faced with total annihilation, the Caliph realized his doom. On February 10th, the Caliph and his court rode out and formally surrendered to Hülegü. The surrender was followed by the ignominy of the Caliph being forced to show the Mongols the vast hidden treasures the city had hoarded. Hülegü took the wealth and then gave the order that would shock the world: a 7-day license for his troops to pillage and sack.
What followed was a massacre. Historical reports suggest at least 80,000 citizens were slaughtered by the Mongol troops. Temples, mosques, hospitals, and palaces, all were destroyed. The most terrible loss was the destruction of the libraries. All the texts from the House of Wisdom were thrown into the Tigris River. Chroniclers wrote that the river ran black with ink and red with blood. Knowledge gathered over 5 centuries was irreplaceably lost.
The final act was the disposal of the Caliphate himself. 10 days later, al-Mustasim was executed. The Khan feared that spilling his royal blood on the earth would bring bad luck. So the Caliphate was wrapped in a carpet and trampled to death by horses. It was a brutal end of the Caliphate, a dynasty that had ruled since 750 AD.
The map of the Middle East was irrevocably changed.
The Caliphate, the symbolic heart of Islam, was gone. The surviving intellectual centers shifted rapidly, finding new homes in Cairo under the Mamluks and in Anatolia. The destruction became a deep psychological wound for the Islamic world, marking the end of its golden age. The Mongol tidal wave, however, did not continue. Just 2 years later, in 1260, the Mamluk Sultanate, a government built by former slave soldiers, would defeat the Mongol army at the Battle of Ain Jalut. The Mongol advance into the Middle East was decisively and permanently halted.
The Mongol siege of Baghdad remains a dark pivot point in history. It was a test of civilization's survival against total destruction. The scholars who survived rebuilt their libraries. The trade routes were eventually restored. But the shadow of 1258, the image of the blackened river and the trampled Caliph, is a memory the world could never forget.
If you found this devastating story valuable, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the events that shaped the world. And let us know in the comments, what other pivotal moment in history do you think deserves a full documentary?